This week, I've been thinking about the story of Esther. Esther is one of the many women in the Bible whose life continues to fascinate me, especially because of how she embraced an unexpected reality with grace, in spite of the reasons she could have counted herself out. It's something I can relate to, though not at all on the same complicated level of culture, tradition, and faith. Beneath the surface, what really resonates with me is the way she continued to choose faith over fear, even when everything was at stake. If you're familiar with the story of Esther, you know she was orphaned as a young child. She understood the trauma and terror of political upheaval and the loss of her native land. Then, when her whole life stretched before her, full of possibilities within her own community, Esther received an unexpected summons to become the wife of a foreign king. These circumstances alone would be more than enough to cause many people to crumble under pressure. Yet here's where the plot thickens. During a time when the Jews lived under persecution, Mordecai, her older cousin and adopted father, reached out for help as a sinister plan to destroy their people came to light. It was a moment of ultimate conflict, inside and outside the palace walls. The initial request was met with hesitation. Esther sent a message to the man who raised her as his own daughter, explaining the danger of going into the presence of the king without being called. To do so meant her very life was at stake. His response, recorded in Esther 4:14, is brief but to the point. If you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. Yet who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Esther's decision carried great consequence, and though I can't fully comprehend the magnitude of bearing up under the load of such a weight, this part of the story really hits home, because I do understand internal conflict. And I know you do too. I know the feeling of inadequacy and the desire to step away from a role that will require too much of me. I've experienced, and at times given into, the temptation to choose fear over faith and take the easy way out when a complex decision looms large. Esther walked through all this and more. Eventually, she made the decision to craft a collaboration with Mordecai. They gathered the Jews for a time of prayer and fasting, and organized a creative plan of action that included a small banquet with direct conversation and a daring arrest. In unprecedented fashion, the strategic interaction resulted in salvation for their people. I know you and I will likely never be faced with the same kind of dramatic events found in the book of Esther, but we all have our own for such a time as this moments, don't we? Who knows what bold or courageous choices are ahead for each of us? As we move forward, let's carry this story close at heart. And remember, success is not defined by what each opportunity brings to us, but by what we bring to each opportunity. In the face of fear and uncertainty, let's consider the refining attributes of Esther's character, which ultimately determined her success. And let's allow them to make a difference in our lives as well.